Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here for another amazing fireside chat. The month of September, we're talking about mind, body, and feet. And today, our special guest is Wendy DeRosa. Just to tell you a bit how I met Wendy, I did one of her courses, and actually, it was amazing. It was something completely different to what I have done, and kind of it's more of a soul spiritual work. But what I discovered is that when we talk about energy being grounded, even intuition and fear, there is so much correlation with our feet. So Wendy is going to join us soon, and then we're going to go a bit deeper with her about what is this relationship between feet and energy. It's very, very interesting. I think Wendy is joining at any moment. Yeah, she just joined, and then I'm going to invite her. Okay. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Paula.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Happy to have you here.
Yes, thank you so much. It's wonderful.
So I was just mentioning before a bit about you, but it was very quickly. So, what about if we start with a quick introduction, and I will let you, introduce yourself to our audience followers.
Sure, absolutely. So, I'm Wendy DeRosa, and I'm the founder of the School of Intuitive Studies. I've been an intuitive energy healer for 26 years. And I have written several books. I'm a faculty member at the Shift Network. I have a new book coming out this spring. And I've been working in private practice for years, and in the past several years have just transitioned into teaching people how to develop their intuition and be healers.
Yes, and this is the reason why we have you here, because again, in my this kind of past on this adventure, the topic is I have discovered the role of the feet, and then today we want to talk a bit about what is the role of the feet in being grounded in energy, even towards our related to our intuition, and also how fear also can contribute to for us to lose balance in our feet and not to stay grounded. So let's just start with the first big question is what does it mean to stay grounded or be grounded, and how our feet contribute to it?
Yeah, it's interesting because there are research studies on grounding and what grounding is. And in one of those studies, which I've read, they talk about the contact with the earth, the physical feet on the earth, connection to the earth, and being in nature. In the energetic system, grounding is in and down. So if naturally our energy goes to the periphery of our body, when we wake up in the morning, we engage in the world, we move out of center. And that's by default. It's harder to bring ourselves in. And so that practice of drawing in to the center, to the midline of our body, our central channel, and also down in our energy system. And it relates to the root chakra at the base of our spine, which is the power center that governs our legs and our feet. And believe it or not, it's the power center we overlook more than anything. And we don't think about the root chakra much in our body. We think about physical, we think about nervous system, we think about heart. But the root chakra power at the base of our spine governs our ability to stay grounded and connected in our legs and feet, and also settling our nervous system.
Right.
And then when you mention about nervous system, there is so much correlation. Like all the nerves end or start, depending on where you say it, in our feet, more than 7,000 nerves. So I guess that also is very important when we think about how feet have an impact in our entire body and our being. And then you were mentioning energy. Energy is such a kind of big subject, and because it's something that we cannot perceive, touch. Well, we may be able to perceive but not touch. So, what's energy?
Yeah.
And the energy that you talk about, what does it mean for a human being?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is quite a bit of, quantum physics, for example, is a science that really talks about what energy is and the cellular consciousness of our body and how we're made of energy. We're vibrational, and we carry within our system, we carry the light of our soul consciousness, which is energy, and our physical body and energetic body also carry consciousness. And what that means is that we hold energy in our system, and our energy could be our characteristics, our gifts, the spark of life that we're here to embody and bring forth into the world. It also can be our wounds, the wounds we carry, the shadow we hold and carry. We also can feel other people's energy, their shadow, their joy, their light, and the consciousness of the cell, the actual peptides and receptors of cells communicate with each other, and so through vibration, and so we can influence each other by the energy we're holding and carrying. I can have positive energy, walk into a room, and people will feel, ooh, that person has positive energy. I could walk into a room and have negative thoughts, or really be in a difficult place, and it's not necessarily negative, but maybe I'm in grief, and I can walk into a room and people could feel, ooh, something's off with her, and they may have judgment about that, but in truth, I might be in a process about something. So we vibrate and feel each other through our energetic system, and the energy in our body contributes to how we operate in the world, how we feel, and even what physical issues and physical conditions might manifest in our body initially start out as energy.
Wow. And then, so you were saying that sometimes if we have negative thoughts, that contributes to our negative energy. And then when you mention the word thoughts, it makes me think of intuition. Mm-hmm. And why I'm saying this is because in part of being an entrepreneur for me has been a lot also about working on me, right? And then I have, over the years doing meditation, I have learned to develop or to let my intuition flourish. Could you give us, I know this is a big subject and you have an entire school related to intuition, but could you please give us just a couple of tips or explain how thoughts can affect our intuition, and also the very basic, what is intuition?
Yeah, absolutely. So intuition, we think of intuition as the voice within, but intuition has multiple ways that it works in our body. It works through seeing, it works through hearing intuitively, it works through feeling intuitively. And some people have the knowing sense. I know because I know because I know, and I don't know why I know. That's also an aspect. Our inner child, or connecting to our heart, is also an aspect of our intuition. Some people smell, they get the sense of smell, and that's an aspect of intuition. So it works in multiple ways in our body. What's interesting is that we're not taught that intuition is normal. We're not taught. My daughter just came home with homework on the five senses, and I looked at it and I said, where's intuition? You know, we're not taught in school that intuition is a natural aspect. It's the first sense that develops in the womb. And we're not taught that it's normal. And so what we end up doing, and this is where the monkey mind or the fear thoughts come in, is we're so conditioned as a society, as a culture, as humanity, to override this aspect of our being. And this is the aspect of our being that is driving us to living our mission in the world. If we don't integrate our intuition into our existence in the world and why we're here and what we're doing, then we break our own hearts. You know, we crumble. Many CEOs will say the best business decisions I've ever made in my life is based on my intuition, not because anybody else said it made sense rationally. They took risks based on intuition. And so this aspect, we are conditioned to live in fear, and it sort of bonds us to our society. You know, if I override my intuition, if I listen to the reasoning mind, if I do what makes sense or what other people expect of me to do, then I'm normal, then I'm okay. And what we're really saying in those cases is, when I override my true self, my aspects of intuition, you know, and I succumb to the fear, then I'm going to be accepted in the world. But what's happening for many people is they're breaking molds, they're breaking their own hearts, they're having physical conditions because they're not listening to the intuition. They're overriding that and listening to the fear in the body, which is the monkey mind, or the critical thoughts, you know, the negative, you know, cycle, which is really probably someone else's voice early on. You know, mother, father, grandparents, whoever else, it's someone else's voice in some other era of time. You know, we're outdated in our mind a lot. And so as we live here in the present moment, we do have to update and come current that intuition is no longer something under the table. It's a natural sense in our being.
Yeah, and that's amazing what you say, because being a mom, you can notice how kids are constantly acting on their intuition, right? Whatever comes to them that is very intuitive. And then we stop them, right? We put a brake on them, like a wall, and say, hey, no, because the rule is this, so this is how things should be done. And sometimes, I think from a very early age, if we're not conscious about that, we kind of contribute to that monkey mind. Because as you said, naturally we are intuitive. And I think this is also what makes us humans, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're mentioning fear. So it is said that the opposite of love is fear. And it's something that personally I have worked a lot on. But at the same time, fear can be our worst enemy, because, again, it just feeds that monkey mind and kind of puts our intuition on the side. However, fear can be also what I call like a power engine that can, you know, help us to move forward. And I guess it depends of the approach that we all have towards fear. So what are your thoughts on fear from both perspectives?
Yeah, it's interesting because I'll tie this into the feet as well, in that fear is a power, actually, of the root chakra, this power center I was talking about that relates to our legs and our feet. So some of the powers of the root chakra are trust and safety and bonding and connection and grounding. And fear innately, we all have innate fear. We're never not going to have fear because we're human beings. But what we're talking about when we think about fear in the negative sense is we're talking about inherent fear. Inherent and innate fear are different. Innate fear, we need it because it keeps us safe. It warns us when danger's coming. Inherent fear is other people's projection into us that we absorb at a pre-verbal, non-verbal age so that we can feel safe in our system, which is usually our family of origin. And that family of origin and system is growing up in an era where they need to survive. And so fears are in place and projected and absorbed, and we carry that energy onward throughout our intergenerationally and even through our lifetimes. So if we have a grandparent who grew up in the Depression, or a parent who grew up in the Depression, there was fear in the ether, in the field around them, and they absorbed that fear, and they had to live in that fear to survive in that era. Well, we're not in that depression. We certainly have other things going on in the world right now, but it's, but we are operating on grandmother's fear, grandfather's fear, energy that we've taken into our system, and we might be operating on those beliefs. That energy, it gets ingrained in the root chakra level. And what's interesting about the root is it's deeply subconscious. We do not feel the root chakra, but we operate from it every single day. And so part of it is getting very, very conscious and aware of what inherent fears, whose fears am I holding in my body? Am I breathing? Do I need to breathe into and release? And where we release is down our legs and through our feet and into the earth. And that becomes the grounding place. I have to let go and let my root chakra uncontract at my tailbone, because it contracted due to subconscious fear. I'm going to let it soften, uncontract, and start to let the water flow down my legs, down my feet, out the soles of my feet, and into the earth, and release what is not mine. And we only can do that by closing our eyes and tuning in and guiding our breath into that area of our body, and to let that energy go down through into the earth, and be willing to let go.
I have to say, Wendy, that I took one of your courses, and I had that experience of kind of giving my own energy, giving back the energy that doesn't belong to me and belongs to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that was like an amazing experience. And it was something completely new, but it's like feeling clean. It's like when you take a shower, it's just like the shower for the soul. I know this subject, we can go, on and on, but the good news, we don't have much time here, but the good news is that you have an event today, happening today, right? Where people can also learn more about what you do about fear, that is the subject of the event today, I believe. Could you please explain a bit more, and then where they can join, because it's a free event, and also how they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the event tonight, the event is focusing on addressing empaths, people who feel, sense, and absorb the energy of others. But in truth, that's almost everybody these days. Everybody's extra sensitive. So it's applicable to anybody. And I am going to be we'll be talking about fear in the collective. Fear is where, as we feel it, absorb it in our system, and as we carry it inherently. And then we're talking, I'm going to be guiding people through a guided healing on how to release that energy, so that more of their empathic presence and ability to hold boundaries can be reinforced and reconnected for themselves. So it's a really beautiful healing we'll be doing, and it's tonight. I think it's 5 or 5:30 Pacific time. And you can if you go to my Instagram page and you go into the Linktree bio, you'll see that there's it's Empowering the Empath is the title, and you can click on there and register for the event, and it's free, so you can just come and join. And there will be a recording if you can't make it live.
And your work, which is amazing. And then I'm going to end with the last 2 questions that I ask everyone that comes to our chat. One is, who do you admire, or who is your inspiration?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think that question has evolved over the years. Right now, I'm really admiring humanity that's rising. I'm really admiring people who are fighting the fight and standing in their power and speaking their truth. So it's millions of people right now, and I'm inspired by that rise of strength and courage and people going for it.
Yeah, it's somehow they also help us to like give us a voice or a part of the voice that sometimes we cannot express. Yeah, I love that. And then the last question is, what do you think of your feet? Or what is your relation with your own feet?
You know, it's interesting. I'm learning a lot from you. Where I've had some criticism about my feet, my left foot's very different than my right foot. And, you know, starting to really feel like, wow, what if I really loved this part of my body more and honored it as a vehicle for grounding, you know, uh, I'm building a different relationship with my feet thanks to our conversations.
This is great because one of the ideas of free toes, of sockets, and the design of our socks is apart from that foot-brain connection, is the self-acceptance through our feet. Like we have what we have, you know, and then we need to embrace it in the way how we also embrace many of our emotions that go inside us, right? We have to do the same with every part of our body, and feet are more important than I could have ever imagined when I started talking. So, well, so now you know where to find Wendy, and your tag is Wendy DeRosa, right, on Instagram?
Yep, it's Wendy DeRosa, and my website's schoolofintuitivestudies.com.
Right. And then we look forward to seeing you in another occasion, and we look forward again to be in contact with all our followers and for next week's chat. Thank you, Wendy, so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate and thank you for everything that you said today, because I know it's going to touch many, many people. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.